Welcome to Magick Moon Log. I am your host, Dawn Marie Franzen, and this is a weekly series looking at the astrological forecast. So sit back and relax, and let's see what the moon and stars will bring us. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Magick Moon Log. Did you guys see the Northern Lights last weekend? The only reason why I didn't mention it on last week's episode was because I didn't know about it. I did not know about it until Friday night, probably about 8 o'clock or so. And me and Chris had gone out to dinner and we went out for ice cream. And when I was looking on Facebook, I noticed that some people were posting that you'd be able to see the Northern Lights from most US states. So I was all excited because I have been wanting to see these things my entire life. I've only seen them on TV. I've only seen them in pictures. I've only read about it in books, and I've never seen them in person. And I always kind of joked, but not really joked, about wanting to go to Alaska to see the Northern Lights, because I thought that was one of the only places that you could see them. So I've never seen them in person. So we were really tired because we had both worked that day. And part of me was like, well, let's not do it tonight. Maybe we can wait till tomorrow night. You know what I mean? Because they did say it was going to happen all weekend. They'd be viewable all weekend. So we went home and I went on Facebook, and it was about 10:30 at night. And people were posting pictures. Like everybody. That's all you could do when you scrolled on Facebook. That's all you could see was pictures of the Northern Lights. I said, oh my goodness, I have to go now. I have to go see these things now. I need to see these things. So I was already in my pajamas, and Chris was already he was already in his pajamas and shorts and everything. And the pajamas that I was wearing was a top and long bottoms. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because I threw on a hoodie and I went outside. And luckily I was wearing long pants, pajamas, because it wasn't that cold out, but it wasn't hot out either. So I was comfortable with what I was wearing. Anyway, I could not see them from our place at all. I looked to the north and I couldn't see them. We have so many trees. You know, we're up in like the northern part of New Hampshire. Well, not north. We're not up in the mountains, but close enough to where we have a lot of trees, and there's a lot of lights over here too. We live in an apartment complex, so there's a lot of lights. So I was getting frustrated, so I started walking down the street, and I walked and I walked and I walked, and I ended up in another neighborhood, and I still couldn't see them. So I called Chris on my cell phone, because I brought my phone with me to take pictures. I called him up and I said, can you come pick me up and let's go drive so we can go somewhere to see these things? And he said, honey, I'm already on my way to go meet you. So we got in the car. And to make a long story short, we drove for a couple of hours and made several stops, you know, thinking, oh, we'll be able to view them from here, or we'll be able to view them from there. And each and every stop we made, we met other people looking for the same thing. You either see people looking up at the sky, or they have their cameras looking up at the sky, or they're just as frustrated as we are. We came across this one couple that traveled a little further than we did just to be able to see these things. And then the guy was looking at his Facebook, and he was noticing that people from his area that he lives in were posting pictures of the Northern Lights. So we were all like, why can't we see these things? So it was so annoying, and I was getting so sad and upset I really, really needed to see these things. So finally, I don't know, it got to be about 1 o'clock, past 1 o'clock. And finally, I said, why don't we just head home? We're both exhausted, and they're just not, we're not able to view them anywhere. We're in the wrong areas or whatever. And people, I have friends from all over the world, all over the country, okay? And everybody I know had posted a picture or two of these northern lights from a few different states, even south from us. So, way south from us. So I was like, what in the world? So we headed back home. And then Chris decided he's gonna do make one more stop at a rest stop. And first of all, he was gonna see if maybe we can view them from there, because it was a darker area. I mean, there were still lights because it's a rest area, but there are a couple of spots where you can go past the lights and it's a little dark, you know what I mean? And plus, he wanted to rest his eyes for a few minutes because we had been driving around and we were both tired. And even though I volunteered to drive, he's like, no, I want you to go out and see if you can see them. I'm like, okay. So we get to the rest stop and there are quite a few people. There's like a little group of people on the ramp coming onto the rest stop. And they're looking up at the sky, they're all the cameras and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe they're seeing something. So I get out of the car and I don't see anything. I'm looking right where those people are looking and I don't see anything. So I walk up to them and I said, did you guys see the northern lights? And they're like, yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, where? And they said they had been all over the place as well. They went to several different places too. It was like a scavenger hunt, just driving around everywhere. So finally, one of the guys pointed up to the sky and there was this, what looked like a cloud that was just kind of like a line going across, wavy, and he's like, that's the Aurora Borealis. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see the lights. I don't see colors. What are you looking at? And a bunch of them were all like, look in your camera lens, look in your phone, in your camera on your phone, and you might be able to see the lights through it. Because sometimes we can't see the lights with our naked eye. And I forget the reasoning about it, but the camera can capture it. So I took my phone, I put on my camera, looked up, I saw colors. I saw greens and purples. It was like so amazing. So I did take a couple of pictures. And I will post them. I will show them on here if you watch. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get to see them. And the most amazing thing about that though, is that I also captured the Big Dipper in the pictures. So it was perfect. And one of the ladies was like, oh my gosh, you got the Big Dipper in there too. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's perfect. So she was showing me all the pictures and videos that she had taken throughout their journey looking for these things. And she got a lot of amazing pictures and stuff like that. And she said most of the time, they couldn't see them with their naked eye. Now I know a lot of people, like some of my friends on Facebook, they were able to see them with their naked eye and they got more vibrant colors and more different colors. But at least I got to see them, even if it was through the camera lens, I got to see the northern lights, Aurora Borealis. I was so excited. Now I could scratch it off my bucket list. Now, after we got home, we parked in our parking lot of our apartment complex and we're walking up to the building and Chris looked over to the north just to see if he could see anything. And he's like, he saw like colors, like a bluish color waving around, like a long line waving around like this. And I'm like, looking, I'm like, what, where? So we go past where our lights are so that we don't have a light shining in our face, And I turned on my camera on my phone and I did take some video, which I'll show those as well, just so you can see those. I don't know if you'll be able to see it as good, but when I was looking through the camera, I actually could see movement. I couldn't really see the colors, but I could see movement. And that's what I was hoping to see. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so it was amazing. So yeah, if you have any pictures or stories about seeing the Northern Lights, well, I guess you can't post them on the Facebook page, but I will put a prompt. Actually, I think I already did put a prompt on the Facebook page. So go to the Facebook page and find the prompt where I said, has anyone viewed the Northern Lights, or whatever it was I said, and reply. Show me your pictures. Tell me your stories if you have an amazing story like this one, driving all over the place just to see them. Okay, so anyway, sorry that was so long. I do want to get on with the Astrocast because, well, let me fix my settings on here first so that I don't lose my screen. So when I'm looking at my notes, I will say that there is a lot going on in the universe this week, as well as everything else. So this might take a little bit longer to go through, but here we go. Let me get back to my notes. There. Here we go with the Astrocast from May 18 to 24. On Saturday, May 18, the moon is in its second quarter phase and is trine with the sun at 1:53 a.m. At 2:42, the moon and Jupiter trine. The moon is in opposition with Neptune at 5:09 and is void, of course, until 6:23 when it enters Libra. Venus is in conjunction with Uranus at 7:41. At 10:32, the moon is trine with Pluto. The moon and Mercury quincunx at 2:29 p.m. The sun is in conjunction with Jupiter at 2:45. On Sunday, the moon is in opposition with Mars at 11:48 a.m. and is void until 6:34 p.m. Monday, when it enters Scorpio. Meanwhile, at 6:45 p.m., the sun sextiles Neptune. At 6:52, the moon and Saturn quincunx. At 5:43 on Monday, May 20, the moon and Uranus quincunx. Then the sun moves into Gemini at 8:59. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all you gems out there. So Gemini is a masculine sign and is ruled by Mercury. Gemini is also a mutable sign. They are adaptable, but can be contradictory. Gemini rules the third house. The element is air, and the color is yellow. All right, so at 10:41 a.m., still on Monday, the moon and Venus quincunx. At 4:11 p.m., the moon and Jupiter quincunx. And then we have another quincunx at 5:29, which is the moon and Neptune. And then at 7:23, the moon and sun quincunx. So all these quincunxes. At 10:34, the moon squares Pluto. At 10:18 a.m. Tuesday, the moon and Mercury are in opposition. On Wednesday, the moon and Mars quincunx at 2:49 a.m. The moon and Saturn trine at 6:03. The sun and Pluto trine at 11:14. At 4:24 p.m., the moon and Uranus are in opposition. On Thursday, the moon is in opposition with Venus at 3:07 a.m. The moon and Jupiter are in opposition at 3:13. At 3:28, the moon is trine with Neptune and is void until 4:24 when it enters Sagittarius. At 4:29, Venus and Jupiter are in conjunction. At 6:50, Venus sextiles Neptune. The moon sextiles Pluto at 8:10. At 9:53, the moon is in opposition with the sun and is full at 2 degrees Sagittarius. So this month's full moon is called the flower moon, also known as the hair moon, the planting moon, and what else is it? The milk moon. But the flower moon is derived from having flowers come full bloom at this time of year, right? So think of the phrase, April showers bring May flowers, right? That's where that comes from. So things you could do at this time are to make moon water. And we did mention that before, so you might have to go back to a previous episode to know how to make moon water, or you can look it up online. Anyway, make moon water and water your flowers with them to help them grow healthy and strong. And spell work you can do around this time could pertain to careers and jobs. All right, so moving on with the Astrocast. So then, still on Thursday, Venus enters Gemini at 4:30 p.m. Jupiter sextiles Neptune at 5:44. At 3:05 a.m. Friday, the Moon and Mercury quincunx. The Moon squares with Saturn at 2:29 p.m. The Moon trines Mars at 2:36. Okay, so what does it all mean? So for the weekend, all right, be careful of being overly optimistic. You might distrust your intuitions, and you might feel an attraction to someone who is very popular. So when I hear that, I think of maybe a celebrity or something like that, Balance your thinking and emotions. Try to get yourself out of a rut that you might be in. You may experience high energy. Meditate on your repressed emotions. Towards the beginning of the week, there may be abrupt changes in your mood. It'll be time to do some self-examination. Make few demands on yourself and on others, but mostly on yourself. Be sure to handle routine work and details. All right, so midweek, be direct but patient. It might be time to make progressive changes. Be aware of any distractions. There may be an excess in emotions. You might be extravagant and friendly. Life may seem happier, and you can receive a cherished hope. Have enlightening discussions and work hard with little gain. And towards the end of the week would be a time for mystical inspiration. Ooh, doesn't that sound magical? And disciplined work and harmony go hand in hand. All right. So now, Magick Moon Log is sponsored by Life Changing Energy. They've got yoga outfits and all kinds of other clothing, jewelry, and healing tools. Take an online course. I took my course with Vicky Gold and am now a certified crystal and chakra healer. Please visit lifechangingenergy.com and use the promo code MAGIC7. That's Magic with a K, number 7, for 7% off your purchase. And now back to the show. There was a little mess up on the spell of the week while I was recording. I actually recorded the wrong one, so I am going to tell you the right one. So this one is for May 22, which is Wednesday, and it's called A Rock in the Well Spell. And the color of the day is topaz, and the incense of the day is marjoram. This spell is based on old-time Appalachian folk magic. For some reason, it was usually performed in May. Originally, it was performed with a rock and a well. Since most of us don't have access to wells, you may also use a bird bath, a pond, a lake, or even a bowl of water for this spell. Begin by finding a rock that appeals to you. Hold it near your heart and ask it a question that you need answered. Meditate on this question for a while as you hold your rock. When you feel ready, drop the rock into your chosen body of water. Observe the ripples in the water. Do you see any messages in them? Keep gazing at the water and look for images that may help answer your question. Do this for no more than about 15 minutes. When done, if you drop the rock into a large body of water, simply leave the rock there and walk away. If you drop the rock into a bird bath or a bowl of water, return it outside. If you fail to get results, wait about a week and try again with another rock. And that was written by James Cambos. All right, so now for the Everyday Spells card. And this is a spell for peace. You'll need 1 purple candle, 2 drops lavender oil, and 2 teaspoons of salt. To get started, sprinkle the salt in a circle around the candle. Light the candle and chant the following. I want peace. I need peace. Peace that is healing. Peace that is deep. Peace when I'm awake. Peace when I'm asleep. Take a moment to yourself. Visualize letting go of what no longer serves you. Repeat the mantra until you feel completely at ease. All right, and of course, that will go on the Facebook page. And now I have not read from this Oracle deck in a while, but it is one of my favorites. I know I say that to all my cards. I love all my Oracle cards, okay? But I do have my top favorites, and one of them is the Amy Brown Fairy ones. But this one is the Greenwich Oracle, all right? And this is by Llewellyn Darcy. I have mentioned this before. I have read these cards on this show before, but it's been a while, like I said. Being a green witch, being a kitchen witch, I love this because it just has so many elements to each card. And the inside of the box has a pentagram. Pretty cool. All right, and that's the book. Because I know I haven't shown these cards to you before because I haven't done the videos on it. So I will go ahead and give these a shuffle. Now, think about some of the things that we have coming up this week. We've got Gemini season. What else did we have going on? It's just so many things. I'm telling you, it's crazy. We got the flower moon coming up this week. So yeah. So let's see what the card will tell us. So I have drawn the healing card. Nice. Okay. These, and I will show the card again. I always show the card in the picture too, in the video. These cards are so awesome. And you'll know when I read from the book. So card number 37, way back here. Okay. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Almost there. Oh, I passed it. Okay, here we go. Healing. And as you can tell from the card, it is a geranium because these cards have fruits, plants, and herbs on them, and vegetables, okay? So this is the geranium. And there's a quote here that says, gardening is cheaper than therapy, and you get tomatoes. And that is an anonymous quote, so I don't know who wrote that. The oracle meaning of this card. It is time to take everyone's opinion into account. And while you may need to make a compromise, there should be a good outcome. Geraniums indicate you need to take time out to care for yourself and connect more fully with your higher and lower self. Cooperation with others and creativity in groups are also needed, while intolerance and self-indulgence are to be avoided. And we did mention that something that you would need to work on this week would maybe be some self-examination. That would be helpful. All right, so there's a cultivation. In cold areas, plant geraniums in spring. In temperate places, from midwinter to mid-spring, and in tropical zones, from late autumn to mid-spring. They love full sun and very well-drained, moderately enriched soil, and can benefit from pruning to maintain a good shape. Flowers will blossom in about 16 weeks, and vase life is only a few hours if the flowers are already open, although buds will last a few days. I love it because if you want to plant geraniums, you know when to plant geraniums in your area. All right, magical correspondences. The uses are for comfort, virality, peace of mind, love, and happiness. And this is for the geranium, mind you. Deities are Freya, Thoth, and Apollo. Celestial is Venus, and the astrological sign is Aries. And then there's another spell. So I'm giving you 3 spells today. And it's a healing spell, of course. Mix up a crystal water remedy to promote healing. Place a few geranium flowers, a clear quartz, and a bloodstone crystal in a lovely jar and fill with water. Sip is needed to promote healing on all levels. Keep refrigerated for 3 days. The crystals can be washed and reused. So there you have it. That's it. All right. So yes, again, let me know about the Northern Lights. If you experienced them, if you were trying to experience them and you couldn't find them, if they weren't in your area, send me pictures, whatever you want to do, on the prompt on the Facebook page, things like that. And if you want to ask me any questions about anything that I've talked about, anything to do with astrology, anything to do with the oracle cards, or anything else for that matter, you can always send me an email at dawnswitchmagic@gmail.com, and come visit the website because I have loads of information on the website there as well. Links are on the show notes and the description on the YouTube channel. Yeah, let me know how I'm doing. And I really thank you for taking this few moments to spend with me. And if you like this episode or like the show, please go to Apple or Spotify and give me a rating and a review. All right, guys, have a very magical week. If you like this episode or show, please consider going over to Apple or Spotify to give me a rating and review. It will really help with the algorithm of the show. Share with your friends and follow me at Witch Magic on Instagram. You can also join us on the Witch Magic Facebook group. If you would like to support the show even more, you could check out my Patreon and Ko-fi pages and join the tier of your choosing and budget for extra perks, as well as helping me maybe get a cup of tea. Thanks, everyone.